So a little weird impromptu thing. Once again, I think we're going to deal with layers and we're going to deal with transparency. This is going to be real short. I haven't touched this since I made the last video. So we already set up the layer 3, but we can also set up layer 1 and layer 2 if we wanted to. But I believe this is flagged as a pitfall. So for transparent stuff to work correctly, you're going to need duplicate tiles that are non-functioning if you want them to look correctly. Oh, excuse me. And I don't think this has anything of the base in here. But what we can do about this for the transparency thing, we can edit the combo, we can go and scroll down and find the non-water tile combo, which for us is starting here. And just like before, it sees that 1, 2, and 3. It works. So we're just going to make a non-functioning just overlay sector here. It's going to take a minute, so just bear with me. This needs to be the blank tile in between those for the best effect. If I had more time to work on this, I would show you easier things. This is sort of a more advanced technical thing that I've been working with. Transparency works well with water, it works well with clouds and fog, as well as generalized colors. That's the incorrect tile. Let's fix that. If we make a few more screens, we can also see about making a whole like scenario where we walk around in one big screen. So we made sure that this cave warp works and we return to A instead of B. That's just a problem with all these. So what we're going to do is we're going to adjust this. We're going to remove that warp because B warps do not work with cave item sellers. What we're going to do is we're going to replace that cave pickup with a treasure chest instead. So if we go all the way back to C set 1, place a chest here, we can go down to room data, we can unset the guy, set that to none, make sure this special item is still set here in sword 1, press OK, leave your A warp, unset your B warp. And we can also get rid of this. Now, for the layers that I keep forgetting to do, we might need to add some treetops because layers aren't really set up here for older tiles. They're in the tile combo editor here, or at least they should be. Well, I guess I get to show you something interesting then. So, for making new tiles and graphics and all that, go into tiles. Let's find those trees again. And what we can do is we can go ahead and copy and paste these Now we can go into the first one, and we can remove all of the ground-looking tiles. There's a really fast method to doing this, but we're just getting rid of all these. And now that will actually be able to be layered really easily. And then we have a replace color with the fire rod here. So we right click, there we go. Now press done. We go back in, we go down to that tile we just modified. We're going to put it down to CSET 2 because that's what we want for colors. We'll make it full solid, but being on an extra layer, if it were to be elsewhere, like layer 1, you wouldn't be able to walk behind it. Layer 3 all the way up till layer 6. Also with FFCs, if the proper things are put together, you'll be able to go under these. So what we can do with that is it's going to look a little weird because everything else is red here, but we have a little fix. We do that, it kind of looks better, yeah? So we can scroll up, because for whatever reason, this just looks darker. That's probably because it is. I don't know if I'm seeing that right. It's not being transparent, so let's go to map 3 for our transparent layers. Transparency really works well on layer 1, and then layer 2 is the overlay for the layer 1 transparency. So we set that to we set 1 to map 3 for this specific scenario. We go screen 53. And then we set 2 to 4, also to 53. So with that said, we can now start placing our transparent tiles on layer 1. And you're going to notice that that water looks kind of transparent, as I was saying. And now we can make it look fancy by putting this really dirty stuff under here, and we can layer over it with that border that we made. If you're willing to put a lot more tile work into this compared to what I'm doing here, it'll seem to work out a lot better. So what we can do is I also never fixed this over here. Those trees still look really dark. And we're still good. Okay, looks like it. So I'm gonna go into my D map because it was I'm gonna change this to world just for the time being, because overworld was some reason it was overlapping. Maybe because I put a space there. It's a force a habit thing. And then we're gonna turn off the music. Okay, that looks good. Now we can also add a prompt to a treasure chest combo, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. So with the wizard, we can also set it to the EX state, and that from 0 to 31. So we effectively get 32 different states for these treasure chests. If we're willing to set that many on a screen, we can have them give different items per chest. So say if we only ever have one of these chests and we don't want to set anything else, we can come in here, make this combo, and we can have it set to the EX state of 1, and we can give it a variable item or a specific item. If you're using EX states, it allows you to put as many chests up to 32 on a screen. So for this, we'll leave it as screen catch-all for special items so we can get the sword out of it. Opening, we can set this up. You have to press A to open this specific chest. And then we can set up a prompt, which is already set up for us, but if it's not, you just got to come in here. You should be able to copy the combo properties too, if I remember correctly. Maybe not. But what we can do is, now that that's all set and done, we can save this. We can reboot ZC, and we can go in here. And now we're walking around. And we're also in shallow water. And those trees do just look really weird. I wonder if the palette's just generally darker. I gotta take a look in the editor at that. Because they are overlaid with their own tile. That would probably make sense as to why they're not being weird. So we're seeing the A. We press A. There we go. We got ourselves a sword. And it does seem that the overworld thing, that was a mistake on my part for putting a space there. So we can go ahead and reset that again. For time check, I think we're good. Let's turn off layer 3 for a moment. I think we should be able to just do this. Does this fix it? No. It just, I guess it is just generally darker. Let's go look at our graphics real quick. Ah, okay. That's probably why it is indeed darker. It's probably because I grabbed it from this tree. We can redo this real quick. So let's copy this, paste it here, yes. And then we'll just do the same edit thing that we did before. And then we scroll down. Oh, you know what? That's why it's darker. Now I'm seeing it. CZ 2 doesn't have that other red color that we were looking at, and that's why. Okay. It's a color correction issue. But either way, that should be done now if we make those trees. Yeah, everything matches. Alright. Now, for the last thing that I want to show off, since we did our transparent water, we can make a section for our sword to get some use out of it. And I think that will put some rocks in the way going right. Well, up anyway. Actually, we'll make a big green rock so that we know that it has to be deleted before we can actually go through it. Let's undo that. I'll show you how to set a secret flag as well. So for this specific one, and since we're on NES graphics and all that, we've got 2 bomb triggers specifically here. We've got Super and Any. So the Any is what we want because that's level 1 bombs. Highlight the whole thing with the flag 6s. Now, whenever we drop a bomb and it explodes on any of those flags, it'll trigger the whole thing. Now, we go into our secret combos, go to bomb, and under bomb we do the color correction. do those blurry dirt tiles again. Set them for both the bomb and the super bomb just in case, because super bombs can also activate this secret, which is not good if you're not setting everything possible. So press OK. Now we can view preview. Screen. There should be a preview mode. Why am I not seeing it? Oh, duh, it's in tools. Okay, so in preview mode, you can press S on your keyboard, which is the default hotkey. Press S, you can see that it transforms into that when we do that. And then we can press R to revert it. That will function absolutely correctly when we come back. And I've also realized something funny. Extended viewport. So we can be making up to 9 screens at a time with how this is set up. But since I'm an old school ZCer, I have to learn how to do that again, so I'll be building one by one. Okay, so the last thing I want to do for this, let's set up a region, like a really simple region. And I'll detail this probably off screen and get back to you. I'll just set it up so that it's too wide. Just something like this. And then we can round it off a little bit. Make a few details here and there. Just so it's not really like bland. But then again, this is Zelda 1 stuff, so it kind of has to be a little lackluster, I would think. There are some people who have a lot of like skill building this, so they're never going to have any problems trying to make good looking stuff. I'm still struggling because the most I'm doing is these rounded mountain corners that kind of become really jagged here and there. I think the worst I do is something like this, just to make it more pointy. But it makes it look better, I think. Just not to use it excessively is all. That's the one thing. And again, since I said this was going to be really bland to start, we'll do that and we'll leave it as is. Now, if we back out to the viewport, this is a really nicely, like, just open area, I would suppose. And now for the regions. Go into your map settings, find those screens that you just put together, select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, 7, 8, or 9, or whatever, or what have you. 0 has no scrolling, as it says right here on the guide. So we're going to put this as 1 because this is region 1. Highlight everything in a box. It has to be a square or a rectangle. So something like this would not work. It has to be 2 regions like this, or it can be 3 like that. But we're going to unhighlight those for now. And we're going to have a dungeon in probably 0, 3, 50, and 56. And then at the absolute, well, we don't really have an absolute center, because this is a 7x6 overworld. It might be more wise to, because we can have a big block on this, but After you set all this being region 1, press OK. And then we can zoom back into the one screen. We can save. We can reset this again. Go in here, grab the sword. And we can go over here. And you notice how the camera changed? And the camera is going to start scrolling with us. So this is the entire region that we just put together. And this acts as one large screen. So it'll be a lot easier to make bigger areas without it feeling like one by one cluttered. Like this screen does. So that's all we needed to know for regions for the time being. You can also use the regions in any map, so that includes dungeons when you're building. Now, there is one other thing that just went into my head. I'm trying to... What was it? There's one more thing. No, in initialization data. Okay. Here's the last thing. So, if your character's feeling too fast or too slow on movement, come over into initialization data. You can change all this stuff. If you want to have more heart pieces or less heart pieces per Arcanator, you can modify this number here. This is the amount that you start with. Enemies are set up in a different, also weird way compared to the hero. But these default values are what you're going to get out of, say, a typical Z1 fan game. We can turn off Sword Slasher if we want. We can modify our starting D map. We only have the overworld, so that's what we'll do. Graphical. If you're using Moon Pearl stuff, set this to whatever your first bunny tile is. And you'll be able to set the parameters later. I haven't worked with this, so I don't know. Switch hook style. This is really akin to Oracle of Ages. It was one of the most sought after features for this editor for the longest time, but now we actually have it. So you can choose your animation style. 0 is poof, like a bomb blowing up. 1 is flicker, like an enemy being hit. And rise and fall is what you would see in Oracle of Ages. Now, what I was in here for is movement. Come over to movement. I like having my hero step speed about 120, depending on what I want to do in the quest. I'm not going to deal with these right now, but typically you want the speeds to match, unless if you're in water, like for swim. So you can do this to a percentage lower. And this also like messes with that too. So we were walking pretty fast. I can save here and I can go back into it after resetting it one more time. Now you're going to see we're a lot slower. So this is 120 speed compared to the 150 that we had, which was a little too fast. Now, 120 is feeling a little too sluggish for me, so I'm probably going to up it to like 125 or 130. But that'll be a me thing later on, so you'll see I'm a little bit faster in the next one. But that's a quick overview of regions, transparency on layers, and a few fixes, and how to set up secret combos. I'm going to work to populate some things. I still have to show you how to set up enemies, but that little black box at the bottom here, you can click on this, you can go into this, and you can select any enemy that you want, but just be wary of where your character is going to be per screen, like what they're going to have. You don't want to put something that's too like absurd in there, unless if you're making a really obnoxiously difficult quest to start off. But I digress. I think I'm done for now. So that was just another episode of how to do things in ZQuest. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back for more probably next Monday if I can remember to do this. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.